now it is time for another What is Japan Saying About? With today's general theme being FRU. It's about FRU and grind. It's mostly about grind, but we'll get there. We'll be looking at what aggregate sites such as Umadori have gathered across the Japanese player base this past week, and mostly just this week, because FRU is only this week. These sites gather things from official sources, Twitter, and most often 5chan, so do keep that in mind that some reactions can be exaggerated, and a similar type of player also makes comments in their comment section, which we will also be looking at. So, just to start us off, a full list of the first 10 teams to clear Futures Rewritten Ultimate, starting of course with Kindred, and their spread was Paladin, Dark Knight, Astral, Scholar, Dragoon, Bard, Red Mage, Pictomancer. As I'm sure everybody knows, since they were part of, they were world first and were live on stream and everything. World second, merely a few minutes after, honestly, like no more than 10 minutes after, was Lucrezia, who was also streaming the whole time, with very similar comp. Well, at least for the tanks and healers. The tanks are exactly the same, so Paladin, Dark Knight, Astro, Scholar, but they have Monk, Ninja, Bard, and Pictomancer. World third was DN, with, again, Paladin, Dark Knight, Astro, Scholar, but they had Dragoon, Reaper, Machinist, and Pictomancer. Fourth was Echo, which was the one that was hosting the world race. They kind of fell behind due to Eep, didn't they? They were falling apart though, so I completely understand why they went to sleep. But they had Paladin, Dark Knight, Astro, Scholar, Ninja, Dancer, Red Mage, Picto. We're not there yet. We'll get to the red dot. Beyond that, I don't think many people were talking about these, but World 5th was Serenity with... Let me just read my list here. Paladin, Dark Knight, Astro, Scholar, Monk, Ninja, Bard, and Picto. World 6 went to Ether Group 3 with Paladin, Dark Knight, Astro, Scholar, Ninja, Summoner, Dancer, and Picto. 7th went to Zenith with Paladin, Dark Knight, Astro, Scholar, Monk, Dancer, Red Mage, Picto. We're just gonna end with Picto, actually the entire way down. Picto is in every group. Now, I don't actually know how to read this. I think it's like... Tolka? It's like steel and fire, but I don't know how you read them together. I feel like it's some joke about like RDPS or something. Anyway, their composition is Paladin, Dark Knight, Astro, Scholar, Dragoon, Dancer, Red Mage, and of course, Pictomancer. World 9th was Grey 9 with... I almost said Knight. The Japanese name for Paladin is Knight. Paladin, Dark Knight, White Mage, Scholar, Ninja, Bard, Red Mage, Pictomancer. And World 10th was Ulti with like the little like line Mania with Paladin, Dark Knight, White Mage, Scholar, Viper, Dancer, Red Mage. So they kind of compiled it here, but yeah, all the tanks are the same up until the last two. So in 9th and 10th, everybody had Astro and Scholar, and every single group, all top 10 had Pictomancer. There were 0 warriors and 0 gunbreakers in the tank compositions. There were no samurai in any of the groups, and Viper only made it into the 10th group. There was only 1 machinist. There were no black mages. Wait, didn't somebody have... Oh, I think I misread. Did I misread? No, they made a typo. There's 1 summoner in here, unless this is a typo. Unless there's a typo in here, this number's wrong, because there was a summoner. But literally all 10 had Pictomancer. And there were no sages. 0 sages, and White Mage only snuck in at the end. It is... I mean, this is essentially like, they're trying to squeeze out as much as they can. And it definitely... I feel a little bad for, like, the other jobs. I feel a little bad for the other jobs, but... Oh, I think there might be some fun bullshit going on. Take a look at that later. Wait. Is there another Hageruga festival? Anyway. Yes, there is. Wait. Do I need to... the Red Dot Bald Row Festival 2024 Red Dot Edition. I hadn't looked if they had posted anything since, but yeah. Usually, okay, to put it out there, usually this is for the purpose of kind of shaming people. So yeah. It looks like yesterday. No, well, 2 days ago, they did the Bald Row Festival for the sake of the Red Dot. But we can look at some of this in a bit. But here, let's take a quick look at their reaction to the World Top 3 reactions. There's some small comments. But these are very, very new when I looked at them, so I didn't get to see too many comments. But here is the reaction to Kindred. There were a couple people who was like, didn't you already say world first? Because obviously they were... it's right here, you can even see it. The thing with grind right on the side. But lots of pictures from the live streams. And... 7 commenting about how sleep is important. 10. Congrats on no red dot %. World first. Is how I translated it, but yeah. There were a lot of comments pretty much the same thing. Oh, no red dot. No red dot. 22 here. Saying, Japanese people, the reason we have higher clear % for savages, perhaps just because we're better. Reality, lol, foreigners. It's because there's more cheaters, am I right, Lamau? And of course with Lucrezia, of course we had a similar situation since they were streaming as well. We got some nice potato images. Nice potato images. Gotta love streaming crunch. Anyway, the comments are similar. Somebody starting was like, I am dying at the no red dot comments. 2 pointing out that it was a gap of just 10 minutes. That was really, really close race. And of course with DN following there, pretty much immediately like, oh, there's no Japan flag here either. No Japan flag. At the bottom, I don't know if you guys saw it, but they are sharing the Grind members' Twitter accounts. I think at least 2 of them have what is it? Privated. So just to go back, so with the situation with Grind, as of 12:29, I believe is that my local time? I don't know. I think it might be Japan's. But anyway, the important part is this went up. Shumai posted about clearing, as well as Chamu, and Zephyr Lime posted one that has since been deleted. With 2 saying, oh, they still have to pass the no C phase, as in no cheaters phase. 4 immediately going, nice tools, nice third-party tools, nice cheats. 5 saying, wow, that's a really pretty location, congrats. That wasn't necessarily sarcastic. 8 immediately going, congrats on world first clear with mods. And 9 pretty much having the same thing. 9 and also 7 here pretty much. Saying like, well, if you didn't stream, it doesn't count. And that was the thing that we saw also on the West time as well. As Carista's Twitch chat can be, pretty much everybody was like, if they're not streaming, we don't care. Like, they don't really... Like, they don't... I mean, do they count? Do they count for, like, what we care about? Not really. You know? But, yeah, a lot of comments were saying pretty much the same thing that you would see immediately following it. And I think one thing that's always tiring is that you'll see, to an extent, you'll see some people being like, oh, why are you guys being so mean? Why are you guys jumping to the conclusion that they're using tools and mods and stuff? You know, you shouldn't, like, just jump to that. Like, I think that there should be some suspicion because it's happened every single Ultimate. None have been free of an incident like this. So I think, anytime we see someone clear off stream as world first, I think the first reaction really should be like suspicion, not immediate congrats. Well, cautious congratulations. Anyway, so following that, of course, the world first team support member screenshot has a suspicious red dot that was possibly from third-party tools. Saying, hey, what's with that red dot in the middle, sad face? Of course, with this tweet, interesting red dot. With, some... Delete, 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 delete! Delete, 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 delete! Lamau. It's just one of the flower petals, right? Copium, clueless. And then, of course, this tweet has been deleted. Lamau! They deleted the tweet, Lamau! 213. So it's pretty much just like them laughing. A hero has appeared, pointing out, like, the person who pointed it out. It's like it's the hero here. 172 saying, why does this keep happening? Why did you delete it? Said, oops, turtle here. Why did you delete this? And, the divine punishment phase has begun. Which is, just to clarify, this is a reference to the last time this happened. Where the YouTube channel that revealed the top, mod issue was named, Tenbatsu. Divine Punishment. And, 270. 270, where are you, 270? Alright. World first rewritten time. Which was the similar joke as what was going on. But yeah, pretty much immediately going like, oh no, you idiots. Why would you delete this? I mean, the people believe that the person, they were in the Arcadion race as well. And I think they were pretty high up there as well. But pretty much everyone thinks that, obviously, if they did it here, why wouldn't they have done it at Arcadion? And yeah, like, pretty much it was the exact same responses. Oh. The world, the post-buy grind got the immediate same responses of like, I don't know, you probably just cheated. You know, you used third-party tools, didn't you? No stream, doesn't matter. And then the minute that it comes out, of course, they're jumping on things. And following that, not a few hours later, Mog Talk tweeting that they were removing Grind from the Mog Talk leaderboard until further investigation. This is just a Japanese translation of that. And following it, again with Frosty clarifying that it did make it eligible for disqualification from the leaderboard, and Grind did supposedly, they say that they did not approve this member using the plugin and did not agree with the actions that they took. I believe... and then the confirmation from Shumai. They confirmed that it was specifically their dancer. I'll come back to this post, though. But yes. Of course, the memes are pretty much the same thing. Banned third-party tool detected. Disqualified. The equivalent of referencing the banned pixel detected. Combatant disqualified. 2 saying, okay, Yoshi P, what are you gonna do? Just gonna state how disappointed you are and move on? Some people questioning Frosty, saying, well, Mog Talk uses tools too. It's a content for tool users, so I don't get why one would drop out. But I don't think this person is a little bit, you know. 5 saying, where's 5? There you are. You can't tell me the other members didn't notice the red dot on the Discord stream, Lamau. 11 saying, these guys are so getting canceled. Don't join a world first race ever again. 17, which is a response to 2 about what Yoshi P is gonna do, is they said, like, well, they're just gonna do as usual and cancel them, and they'll ban them, and that'll be it. 21. 21. Take some notes from the tuning exam. Tuning exam. Just don't get caught 5. But back to this post, where Shumai confirmed that is specifically was their dancer, which is the cat in the picture, if I remember correctly. Is this cat? But the response to that was, but aren't you guilty by association? Which isn't always the best way to look at it, but like, how did no one notice the red dot over like 2 days, 3 days of prog? And 3 here saying, this sounds like an excuse, an elementary kid level's excuse. 4 saying, I don't know who to believe here. 5 saying, ban them all for being accomplices. If they'd just apologize on behalf of the whole team, it might have been fine, but throwing one guy under the bus is so wrong. And then 6 saying, okay then, prove the rest of you guys didn't cheat. 11 saying, so they quoted what Shumai said, we have a policy as a team to not use third-party tools. And they're kind of like pointing to it, oh, Lamau even. And 22, saying kind of my thoughts on it is like, so you spent dozens of hours of prog and no one noticed the mod? Lol. And that's the thing, so even like with Frosty's statement on the matter, I hate to say it, like I know it sounds mean, but it sounds like one of those things where you're like, it sounds like a Japanese type, I mean, it sounds like any PR response, like, oh, well, we didn't approve of it. You know, the one person, right? And, I mean, yeah, how did nobody notice? Through so many hours of prog, how did nobody question any of that, you know? Like, the red dot was pretty noticeable. Like, I could understand a couple of points, perhaps. The picture got a little potato, but... maybe the stream got a little potato, but... yeah. As for the meme collection... we of course get our lovely English ones. That I'm sure you guys have all seen. Yeah, it was a very corporate type response. That's exactly the vibe that Shumai's tweet had. Even when it was through Frosty, it had a very corporate type response. And yeah, like, come on. Come on. One of the memes that was... they made a fucking Prince of Tennis meme. I don't know. Anyways, the text. This is the actual Prince of Tennis. I think it's new Prince of Tennis or whatever. Like, I thank you. 512 saying, the red dot is too tiny. He's way too big. Another fucking Prince of Tennis meme. What is this? What is this? What is this? This still was my favorite meme though. This one's still my favorite. It's not a tool. It's the flag of Japan. It's the flag of Japan. And yes, as mentioned, I think I mentioned the other day, but Yahoo Japan did have an article about it. They mentioned the world first, like actual first team, but talking about the third-party tools from the situation. I'm not gonna sit here and like translate the whole thing, but they kind of talk about like, you know, let's see here. You know, they're saying like, okay, we had the Japanese team, Kindred and Echo worked for foreigner teams, you know, but you know, in front of all of them, apparently a team named that didn't stream called Grind finished first. However, one of the screenshots included a UI element that's not in Final Fantasy XIV, which the community noticed. And since they weren't streaming, and the tweet was immediately deleted, people pretty much started questioning whether or not they had used third-party tools. And then they pretty much explained the situation with Mog Talk taking them out of the situation from their leaderboard for investigation. And while all this was going on, the streams that were streaming, particularly Kindred, got their clear as world first. And just a few minutes later was Lucrezia's stream clear. Nothing has been said yet. We'll find out what Yoshi-P has to say. But yeah, it would appear that recently they had a Hageruga festival to shame Grind, essentially. The response is pretty much the same. The responses to Grind's initial post was exactly the same. Critical and, to some extent, accusatory. But I mean, on the other hand, it's happened every single time. Not a single race has gone, like, like, we've had didn't DSR have something? DSR did, right? T definitely did. Top had something. Like, Ultimate World First has been really bad. And I think it's completely understandable that if they're an off-stream team, that the first reaction is, okay, but we gotta see proof you didn't do anything. We gotta see proof you didn't do anything. It's unfortunate, but I hate to say it, but they could easily just not have this problem by streaming. You know? And I get why some of them don't, but then, you know, that's the trade-off. By streaming, you can, I don't want to say avoid, but you can have, you know, proof to some extent that mods weren't used. But by, you know, and yes, that does mean that your strategies are available for everybody to see. But that's the trade-off you get for, you know, having evidence being like, well, no, we didn't, you know, all these members that you can see, their POV, like, they're not using mods. That's the trade-off. And yeah, like, they were critical and accusatory, but yeah, accurate. And it sucks. It sucks that they were accurate. And yeah, I'm curious what Yoshi-P's gonna say. You know? I'm curious what Yoshi-P's gonna say, and I know he's not gonna be happy about what happened. On the other hand, let me just say this as well. I do think that it's really good that the first that we acknowledged is indeed a stream team. Yoshi-P, the dev team, will probably congratulate the top 3. They were all on stream with at least a decent amount, if not their entire team, streaming, right? So we have proof, you know. Heck, some of these, like, I think I remember Ether Group 3 was one of those that they're like, oh, they like pop in and be like, oh, by the way, we're still ahead of you guys. Like, and they're an off-stream team or whatever. They didn't even make, did they barely make top 5? They didn't even make top 5. See, the thing is, what can we do? Shame them. Straight up. Straight up. What can we do? What can you do? Shame them. Remove them from the list. Frosty at one point, I think it was before Arcadian at least. I don't remember exactly when it was, but he tried to make a stance saying that they weren't going to track offline teams. And it's like, look, if offline teams want to be tracked through, like, you know, FFlog sites data, that's whatever, right? That's whatever. But if Frosty's goal, if Frosty wants to maintain integrity in the members, then, you know, he needed to have stuck to that. And he pretty much immediately backpedaled on it. And I get why he kind of does. Like, you know, you feel like, well, they're still part of the race. Like, they're still doing stuff. But do we want to be encouraging people to not stream and then we have to play detective? I'm gonna, like, the saddest thing, right, is that if, what is it, like 2 of them? Zephyr Lime and Jun Sharoon, the ones that posted the ones that then deleted their tweets, right? Jun Sharoon, if all they did was MS Paint over that dot, we would have never found out. That's the scariest fact. You know? It's harder to doctor hours of stream. It's harder to doctor hours of stream, but a single picture can be so easily doctored. And yeah, we just don't include them. Like, the foot needs to go down. The hammer needs to go down. Because here's the thing. There is some extent that Japan, the dev team, can't do certain things because of legal things, legal laws. Like, they can't necessarily, to some extent, put in, like, anti-cheats from what I've heard. But even if they could, you know, we're at the point where even if they could, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these tools found a workaround at some point. So, what we have to do to an extent as a player base is report them. Tell the devs about them. Make it known that we don't approve this. If we don't want to see people using third-party tools in a world race for the sake of prestige, we need to, as a community, not include them in it. As long as the world race is fan-run, we can choose to not include them. You know? And by Frosty making that decision to immediately remove them, or near immediately, it was like, what, like mere hours after they were initially added? The minute it was found, like, the Echo stream chat was turned on emote. Only people that were posting the red dot emoji were getting timed out. It was... They had to go on damage control, and I get that. But that was the right call. Immediately, you know, go through investigation, and upon it, make it very public why they were removed. And at the very least, I can guarantee you, these members from the grind team, they will go dark in Japan, most likely. They will at least go dark for a little while. If, you know, if a community makes enough of a stink. The problem that we have is that... One of the problems we have is that people say, well, oh, that's just to be expected. We make our expectations. So, you know, as players, we can say, this isn't acceptable. You're not welcome here. You're not welcome in our world first race if you do that. And I'm really happy to see that the world first has officially, as far as the community says, has gone to Kindred. And following that, Lucrezia and DN, who were all stream teams. And I hope that it creates a better future for the world race. Because, yeah, like, off-stream team, I get it. But if you're gonna be an off-stream team, I think that then, like, if you want to be tracked on the leaderboard, like, I don't know, put Frosty as your, like, 14th man or something. And he can see all of your footage. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, well, then you're not allowed in the race. Then you don't get put on the leaderboard. And if the dev team isn't going to do their own run, well, you know, if the dev team, I think the dev team wants to, but it's a lot of logistics and a lot of other things. And you don't want to take people, you know, you don't want to have people have to travel for the world first, you know. It's supposed to be an online game. It's supposed to be, you know, all of that. It's supposed to be accessible that way. Plus, you know, there's comfort in playing in your home, in your house, at your home machine, you know. But yeah, well, what we need to do is honestly what happened, and we just need to keep doing that. And hopefully, we'll have a future where the devs don't have to go, like, say, well, we're never doing ultimates again because you guys can't behave. I honestly think to some extent that if they're as disappointed as I honestly think they're probably gonna be, they might even delay, you know, the next ultimate. They might even delay the next ultimate to make, to figure out what they can do from their side to stop this problem. Yeah. That's what I think anyway. Because I don't think they want to... I don't think they want to be like, no more ultimates ever. I don't think they want to do that. But if the ultimate racers can't behave themselves, and we as a community, you know, like, I mean, it's not on our fault, but if we as a community, you know, shun them and shame them, perhaps, at the bare minimum, they will be more discreet about it. Which isn't much better, but, I mean, we currently play in a version, you know, in 14 right now. We already have the problem, and I've talked about it a bit, where people have no problem putting Merlam and Torum's Autumn Translate to mean what they mean in their, you know, adventure plates, in their descriptions. People have no problem listing party finders with links to RMT buying clears, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't know where my point is going with this. But hopefully, the reaction that we had here gives some hope to the devs. And I hope that in the future, Frosty does stick to his guns about not tracking. Again, he said this like forever ago. But I personally was a little disappointed when he walked it back. My hope is that, you know, in future world races, like the community run ones, if they stay community ran, sorry. If they stay community ran, we stop including offline teams. If they're not going to give us full, like, if they're not going to give somebody on the team, like, you know, some staff member of some kind, you know, a way to view every part of their prog. Because if they can't prove they didn't use mods, and we don't want to promote the use of that, which we don't, you know, which I don't think we do. We don't want to, you know, allow third-party tools in this race. Then, oh shoot, I lost track of my sentence. I lost track of my sentence. I'm sorry. But if we don't want to allow third-party tools, then we need to make steps like that. We need to take steps like that. And yeah, like I said, I hope that the response that the community had here puts Yoshi P a little bit at ease, even if he's still probably really disappointed. And I guess we'll find out what happens to Grind from the Square Enix side. Eventually, perhaps in a few days, as I'm sure that a proper response is being drafted, both for the Twitter response as well as some perhaps official Lodestone post. But until that is shared, that's all I have. Perhaps when that is posted, I will take a look at it and do it like an emergency video or something. But until then, that is all the topics I have for this time. If you'd like to see more, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And I also live stream on both YouTube and Twitch almost every day, and record these live every other week on Sundays. And with that, I will see the YouTube video crew next time. Bye bye, YouTube video crew in the future.